How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. We are reacting to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 6, Among Us Hides. Now, that could be the aliens among us, right? The ATCU putting out this thing of, hey, here's a bunch of aliens, and they look just like humans, and you have no idea who's an alien and who's not, so let's get that fear. I think that's what it's about. I think it's just going to be about more of the fear-mongering the ATCU is doing, so that's my guess. Obviously, it's going to have a double meaning as well, but who else is hiding among us? Who else is hiding among us? Or Among Us Hides. Okay, so there is a... we were talking about on the Discord, me and someone who has also been like going through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the same pace I have, or going through a lot of the MCU at the same pace I have. You know, maybe there is a chance that Garner isn't dead, that Andrew isn't dead. There's a slim chance. I don't know if I think I'm still on the side of probably not, but, you know, maybe the whole thing going on with him in May, he's an Inhuman that has, you know, awakened, and because of his job and everything, he would be perfectly equipped to getting it under control himself. If anybody were to suddenly become an Inhuman and then get it under control without the world really knowing, it would be Andrew. Now, it's not really in his nature to fight or anything like that, so if anything happened there, it would have to be something that, one, definitely probably did cause him to bleed and fall on the floor and all that, but something weird enough that maybe caused Strucker to run out and have that look on his face. Originally, I thought that look was potentially just, you know, he's doing this for the first time, he's not accustomed to this life and everything, but it could equally be he saw some crazy shit happen in there. He was the only one who left the store, even though there was two other guys in there. We never saw Andrew's, like, face or anything like that. We never saw him die, which, you know, because of the kind of character he is, I wasn't expecting to see him die, because, you know, I don't think they would go that brutal with a kind of character like him. But it's still, you know, if you don't see the head on a stake, then I don't truly believe that they're actually dead. But we could just start off with a funeral this episode. It could also be very, very unlikely, but it could be Lincoln just so happened to be nearby and just so happened to be able to save him somehow. Very, very unlikely, but I gotta throw it out there as a possibility. But yeah, I think the Inhuman, the Andrew being Inhuman, Andrew being Lash, I think is extremely unlikely. I don't see how he'd be traveling around so much. You know, I just don't see him being Lash at all. But he could be an Inhuman. I think it's possible. It's definitely possible. I don't know if I want to. I gotta stake my claim. Do I think my theory is that he actually is dead, or do I think my theory is that he's an Inhuman? Oh, I'm going to put my stake into Andrew is in fact dead. Yeah, I'm gonna stick my stake in there. Bam, 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 nailing it down. Chunk, chunk, chunk. That's what I'm guessing. This episode, I think, is going to be primarily about that side of things and a little bit of the Simmons and Fitz stuff. I don't think we're going to be delving fully into the Fitz Simmons monolith otherworld stuff. Maybe we will, because I guess we're not going to have... How much time do we really need this episode to spend with the Andrew being dead, if that is the case? So I guess my guess is that it will be beginning, a little bit of you know, that sort of stuff with the Hunter, May, and Andrew, and then the majority of the last bit of the episode will be Simmons and the planet and all that stuff. So let's get into this. If you want to see the full length, check it out on the Patreon below for $4 a month. So, I cannot think of any explanation other than Andrew is straight up evil. Like, especially going back through the episode, he's talking a lot about, you know, Lincoln, where's Lincoln, hey Daisy, where's Lincoln, all throughout the episode. I didn't even really realize, just, you know, once you have that different context for it, it really feels a lot of difference. And so, yeah, like, all the him talking about the Inhumans that Coulson has had, that Coulson didn't tell him about at all. Like, it sucks because it's like a, you know, I know people are going to try and say that Coulson is right for not telling him because he's Lash and everything like that, but that's all bullshit. Like, Coulson absolutely should have said something to fucking begin with. But now, again, so, yay, Andrew's alive. Yay. Not really, because he's fucking evil. But we now, I talked about last episode, Andrew being dead and him, needing, maybe not, I didn't talk about the last episode the whole Simmons thing. But either way, I talked about the trying to fill that void in S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, who else is going to be this role? Who is going to be the person who is able to, you know, our new psychiatrist, our new therapist, our new not only medical examiner, but mental health examiner. Again, I cannot, there's nobody in the show I can think of who would be, I guess Lincoln is the closest we have. But again, he would have to be, like, because he's an Inhuman, it's a little bit weirder. Because S.H.I.E.L.D's going to want to keep a lot more tabs on him if he's a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. as that sort of role. I don't think he would be out there in the, you know, what am I trying to say? I don't think he would be out in the field particularly, but he would also be able to defend himself if he got into a situation like Andrew did. So, you know, not that Andrew defending himself in this situation was good. I mean, it was, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, is if Lincoln comes back, potentially. I think what we're working towards is a Lash going after Lincoln and S.H.I.E.L.D. having to protect Lincoln again. But, yeah, it's really going to depend on how Lash is going to find him, which is probably going to be Lincoln calling into Daisy, Daisy going to find him, and then Andrew tailing her. I don't know how Andrew gets around the country so easily. I guess, you know, we do know that he is insanely rich, so it makes a lot of sense how he would be able to, you know, if he just has, like, a private jet or something, or I assume the only thing I can think that would get him around the country so fast is a private jet. He would have to have something flying, because he gets around about as quickly as S.H.I.E.L.D. does. Either way, I mean, I guess he's on, but no, because I was gonna say, well, he's on the Zephyr with them, but I guess that's not true because, like, you know, sometimes the Zephyr will be back at, you know, the actual base. What's it called? Oh shit, what's our base called? Is it Providence, or did we move to another one that was like Providence but isn't Providence? Did we give it a name? But is it Omega? Is that just what it was? Omega, I believe. Oh boy, somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. So many code names in S.H.I.E.L.D. But yeah, where are we going with all this? Sometimes the Zephyr was there and S.H.I.E.L.D. was out somewhere else, and Andrew was there too. So I don't think we really need an explanation for it, because I think the explanation is simply he's rich. You can assume he has some way to get around pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't know what else I have to say about the Andrew and Lash sort of stuff. I really can't think of any explanation other than that he's evil. I can't think of any, you know, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, it's a stretch, maybe it's this, I don't know. I can't. Just seems like he is killing all the Inhumans because he doesn't want the Inhumans to be around, because I don't know. Like, does he think, is it like something like, oh, my own abilities have ruined my relationship with my ex-wife, so now I'm going to kill all the humans because they all hate it as much as I do. It is very similar to Fry, where Fry was like, you know, oh, having this, you know, inhuman disease, essentially, for what it was for him, was basically a disease. And he was like, I hate this, I don't want it. But he wasn't even saying, like, I want to die, thus all other humans want to die. His was more of a, I don't want to die, but my ability makes me feel like I'm dying, so Lash goes around and kills a bunch of people for me. But not the case at all. So then we also have Rosalind this episode with the same sort of thing, seeing the Inhumans as a disease that will. Fry was the one who didn't, but yeah, it does seem like she is very similar to Lash's mentality of seeing the Inhumans maybe as a disease that, you know, needs to be cured, you know, as opposed to they need to work out their, like, one, Rosalind is probably, I think, the most fucked up villain we've had in the show so far, because even with Jiang, like, she understood what she was doing was evil, which is, like, her actions might have been worse, arguably, I don't know. I think Rosalind's actions might be worse, for me personally. I feel like the vast majority of people would find Jiang's worse, but personally, I prefer death to, you know, being locked up in any sort of situation at all, so personally I find Rosalind to be the worst, but I can see why people would disagree. But either way, yeah, like, her talking about her husband having cancer, and then relating that to the Inhumans like it kills them, which it does not. We've not seen that happen to anybody. Like, they could have set that up with Fry, maybe, like, his were gonna kill him or something if it wasn't, you know, dealt with, but no, not the case at all. You know, Fry might be the only one who prefers being in this tank, and even then, I highly, highly doubt it. I'm sure he would much rather be in pain. But yeah, we have, no, why am I saying we have? Going back to the Rosalind thing. Yeah, I just, the fact that we tried to humanize her with the cancer bit was wild. That's why I'm saying, like, she might be the most insane character we have. She might be the most, like, actually insane, mentally ill, mentally disabled, insanity, absolute insanity, if she thinks cancer and Inhumans are in any way comparable at all. Like, not even 1% comparable. I don't even have a metaphor for, like, what... It's like saying I had a horse who broke its leg and we had to put it down, so let's kill all black people. Like, what are you... There's not even a single percentage of similarity in the two things you're bringing up. What are you talking about, Rosalind? Also, furthermore, with the whole husband thing, what was supposed to be implied with the furniture and the Margaret Thatcher books? I'm not really sure. Like, the baseball bat, okay, sure. But what were we supposed to imply about the new furniture and the Margaret Thatcher books about her husband being dead? I'm not really sure. I don't really get that. And also, her house being broken into? What happened there? Was that, again, something... I assume that was staged by her, you know, as a means to get Coulson to more humanize with her through the husband stuff. And through the burgers and everything. Like, she is trying to get him to like her. I don't think we're going anywhere with it. But the fact that Coulson is even, you know, being friendly with her. But again, I know how Coulson rolls. He's the greater good above personal individuals. But yeah, next episode's gonna be a real rough scene of Coulson and Daisy and Mac and Hunter, everybody trying to convince each other that this is okay, and not, you know, extremely Hydra-esque. This is worse than Hydra, honestly. But either way, so they say they're trying to find a cure, which again, bad. I mean, like, sure, maybe you want to find a cure, but I know where they're going to go with this. They're going to go with you're going to have to take the cure. This is you're not allowed to be an Inhuman. You have to take this cure. So, yeah, I can already see where we're going with this, and I ain't happy with it. This is going to need to get taken care of. The ATCU is gonna go down in flames. Like I said, I can see Coulson using his laser finger to kill Rosalind. Even still, even after all this, I can see it. But yeah, I'm not really sure why Rosalind is happy with the Inhumans being dead. If this is her, like, that's also why I don't believe a single word she said here, almost. I kinda do, but I also don't. Because back in episode 1, she says, I won't hold it against you for the ones you're killing, to Coulson, when she thought that S.H.I.E.L.D. was the one going around killing all the Inhumans. So, she doesn't care if the Inhumans are dead. She only... So, I don't know. Are they really trying to find a cure, or are they just putting them in stasis so that way they can, like, experiment on them and try and figure out, like, try and make them more powerful, try and use them in some way? I don't think so, because we've done that last season with Hydra, we've done that in season 1 with S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't know, maybe we're going to do every season has to be somebody taking the powered individuals and making them stronger. I mean, that is still what S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing, but still, they're doing it in slightly less fucked up ways. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that being the thing, though. I don't know. I think she's just lying. But I don't know why she's lying. But I do... she's got to be lying. Like, her wanting Inhumans dead doesn't line up at all with her wanting to have a cure and trying to humanize herself with the cancer story and everything. It just doesn't line up. It doesn't line up. Got to figure out what the fuck's going on there. I don't know. But, okay. So, Fitz and Will, really quickly, let's go over that briefly. Don't really have much to say about it, but the whole Fitz, Simmons, and Will thing, but Simmons didn't really get to do much this episode. I'm glad Fitz is doing all this. Fitz is looking into who Will was and everything like that. Probably because of jealousy, but also just a good thing to do in general, like, honestly. Not as in, like, let's make sure the guy let's not bring him back if he's a bad dude or anything like that, but, like, let's at least know who he is. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not trying to justify it in a, like, it's fine. It's fine. Like, it's about the same as just looking up somebody on Facebook. It's not like he's doing a deep dive. He just pretty much Googled Will, whatever his last name was. Will Daniels, I think. But yeah, it's pretty much what he did. So, I think the scene is to imply that he has some jealousy, sure, but yeah. Apparently Will was on a bunch of microgravity missions, whatever that is. I don't know. He was the head of a satellite rescue mission. He was kind of like a local small town hero because he came from a really small town, became an astronaut. So yeah, cool dude. Seems like the amount of characterization we're getting on him, still feel like he's going to be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I'm excited to see how that's going to go. I cannot believe Hunter said, why don't we just leave him on the fucking alien planet? At that point, that feels like you can't... I don't know. Hunter, I cannot imagine at this point what the show could possibly do to make me like Hunter again as a person. As a character, it's a whole separate situation. But as a person... I mean, Hunter's always been one of the worst. He's a mercenary. He's a bad dude. But, God, that was... I just can't get over it. That was one of the most fucked up things I've ever heard anybody say. Like, even in real life. Oh, God, Hunter. And just... everything this episode with Daisy and Mac and Hunter, like, Jesus fucking Christ. This is like back in season 1 where it's like Daisy, or back in season 1 it would have been Skye, you don't know how to be a spy, you're so bad at this. And now I'm back here where it's like, damn Daisy, I thought you were better at this, but God, you're so fucking terrible at being a spy. The dwarf situation where it's like, these dwarfs, Fitz said, do not bring them into the field because they're not ready yet. And they brought them into the field. Right off the bat, horrible spy work right there. What if it blew up? What if the camo went out? What if what if an alarm started happening because you activated it and Fitz put an alarm on there in case anybody tried? So many things could have gone wrong. The whole bank situation, I don't even think I need to fucking talk about how extremely fucked up everything going on there was. And, even then, again, with them being terrible spies, if they then tried to make it look like he got mugged, or somebody broke into his car, or something, but if Banks wakes up and doesn't realize that this is S.H.I.E.L.D., he's gotta be the dumbest motherfucker on planet Earth. This is so obviously S.H.I.E.L.D. And so now we're going to cause a hell of a lot of problems between the S.H.I.E.L.D. and the ATCU because of all this. Oh my God. And it's like, Banks is a bad person, so it's not even like I feel bad for Banks. It's just an extremely fucked up situation. But yeah, I don't have much empathy for Banks, but the fact that they would just be willing to do this to a person Oh my god. Okay, where May and Bobby as well. This episode was really the everybody's a fucking monster episode. May, this episode, Jesus Christ. Like, with how aggressive she was at Bobby at the beginning of the episode, like, sure, I get it, you know? I'm totally fine with that. People fight, you fight your friends all the time. Most people, I feel like, have gotten into a fist fight with their friends at one point or another in their lives. It's just, you know, I think Bobby, or May doing that just to test her was a bit strange. That was the weird part of it, where it's like, okay, that's strange, but alright. But yeah, May, you know, forcing Bobby out onto the field when she's not physically back to her prime yet. May trying to force her into a situation with you know, guns being fired at them when they could have just talked their way out of the situation and it was going fine. And the one guy had his hand on the gun, but that's just police officers, baby. They're just fucking garbage. So it probably would have still worked if you continued to try and talk your way out of it. Yeah, yikes, May. Real yikes moments. With Ward and Kibo and Werner and the new guy. Don't have a name for him yet. I'm guessing that he's Strucker's old accountant. I don't know what other position he could have had, or they would have implied that he had, this episode. I don't know, so I'm guessing Strucker's old accountant. He doesn't seem German or anything like that, though, so I don't know. He seems really important, but not like a head of Hydra or anything like that. I mean, we knew who all the head of Hydras were, but I don't think he's anywhere even near that level. But he gave up Werner. He sided with Ward. Werner's now dead. I really thought, yeah, Werner is dead. They could pull he didn't actually die right there, but it seemed like he died in that scene. Which I thought they were going to go a lot more with his character, but yeah, surprisingly not so. But yeah, I don't know what the hell Ward's going to do now. Like, they've, they tracked down his first place, they've tracked down this place, now he's on the run again. Like, he's lost so many people. Kibo, is he dead now? Is Kibo dead? I don't know. He could just come back out and be like, that hurt, but I wasn't dead. But, yeah, I hope Bobby did the finisher and she actually killed him there. He was, as we saw in this episode, real big, like, very weak, so not very, wouldn't be surprised if he died. But yeah, Ward's running out of people very, very quickly. There's the other Hydra dude who has the PIM particles. And it's gonna be real fucking weird if that comes back up in the movies or something. And, like, I would honestly, at this point, kind of just prefer that dude who ran away with the PIM particles and Ant-Man to just never come up again. Because if he wasn't a part of Ward's Hydra, what the fuck was he? Like, all of Hydra at that point was gone, except for Ward and a very, very small amount of people. Because that happened, like, right after. So it had to have been less than 10 people in all of Hydra. So yeah, I still don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, I don't expect it to come up in the show, but, like, when I think about what the fuck Ward is going to do with Hydra, and I think about Hydra getting defeated this season, it's weird, because then you still got that guy running around. I'm like, why the fuck did they do that, man? I feel that's my only problem with the MCU so far, is, like, I've joked about the Tiny Ward so many times, because it's just like, I don't know, that plot point, I hope it never goes anywhere. I hope it never goes anywhere, or I hope it does tie back into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, because it's gonna be real, it's just gonna be a big fucking plot hole if it doesn't. And so far, the MCU has been good about not having any. Even the whole incident shit, which we talked about in Luke Cage, the whole, like, them referring to the Battle of New York as the incident in Luke Cage is very specific. It's not a plot hole, it's just a very specific dumb thing. But that's a whole different aside. I mean, actually, I will talk about it in S.H.I.E.L.D. really quickly as an aside, because a lot of people have brought up the things between the movies and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Netflix shows and like the what they are allowed to use and what they aren't allowed to use legally and everything like that. And I have looked into it myself. They're not a lot, like, for example, like the movies cannot use Daredevil unless the Daredevil TV show has been over for at least 2 years, which is coming up pretty soon, actually. But, you know, they can use the Battle of New York. They have used the Battle of New York in Daredevil and everything like that. But then, like, the incident is a thing that has been said once in Daredevil, and then it has been said mainly in Luke Cage. It was brought up once in Daredevil as a realtor saying, you know, a realtor downplaying the Battle of New York, just calling it the incident, because she's trying to sell a house. You don't want to call it the Battle of New York. You don't want to bring up those memories. So she calls it the incident to downplay it. Then, the writers of Luke Cage, the original, like, writer of Luke Cage for, like, the first 2 episodes, I assume, being a idiot, retarded man who, the writer of the first 2 episodes of Luke Cage, very dumb, very bad writing the first 2 episodes of Luke Cage. But, then it establishes the incident as a thing for Luke Cage, and then the other writers have to then stick with using the incident throughout Luke Cage, but specifically in Luke Cage, it is one guy in Harlem who is calling it the incident and selling all the tapes, then referring to it as the incident, so only people in Harlem call it the incident, and then also this news reporter who is downplaying it, so it's so fucking dumb, but it does make, like, but it's not a plot hole, right? It does make sense. It's just, they had to take this dumb writer's, you know, mistake and make it make sense throughout the rest of the season. Ah, oh, so stupid. But, you know, all that aside, you know, I wonder where we're going with this Hydra stuff this season. It feels like Hydra's going to be taken out this season, but then where is Ward going to go? Because, again, I think Ward's going to stick around for the whole show, or at least the vast majority of it. Then we have, what do I want to move on for this episode? Let's talk about the factions. I feel like we covered pretty much everybody this episode doing their thing. I mean, I could talk more about the Daisy Mac and Hunter stuff, but I don't know if I want to. It's just, God, it's... So I think I've talked about, as much as I want to talk about the vast majority of this sort of stuff. I mean, really quickly about the Will sort of stuff and the Hunter thing. If they are implying that this should be a question of whether we're going back to Will or not, like, I thought that Simmons was, you know, not wanting to bring it up to them because she knows how insane it sounds to want to go back and how dangerous it was, so she was trying to do it secretly. Not a, like, I mean, a little bit of the jealousy thing with Fitz, but I thought that was a jealousy thing with Fitz, not a, like, I don't want to bring up saving somebody because, I thought that was just she wanted to do it secretly because she didn't think anybody would let her. But, no, it seems like she just thinks that people are going to think it's not a good idea to go save him because everybody's very immoral. But anyway, so we have the factions we have going on right now that are still present in the world. We have S.H.I.E.L.D, we have the ATCU, we have Hydra, and now we have Lash as his own sort of, like, separate entity, everything. Now, as I said, this episode really, we get like one a season, but this episode really was the everybody is a monster episode. Like, everybody got, oh, my alarm. But, everybody got to have some real yikers moments, except for, Fitz and Simmons. Like, Simmons is, you know, Fitz and Simmons being the whole, like, Simmons questioning whether she should even bring it up last episode, and then Fitz, you know, looking up Will. I don't think there's anything weird going on there, but there could be. Like, it could be a, you know, Fitz trying to find a reason not to want to, and again, the Simmons thing I've already talked about, but that's not really her, it's a little bit of a her problem, but still, that's excusable, that's whatever. But yeah, everybody else, and Bobby as well. Bobby didn't have a yikers moment. Bobby did not have a she's a monster moment this episode. But Bobby's in general a bad... Bobby and Hunter are probably the worst people on S.H.I.E.L.D, aside from Coulson. In terms of, like, as people, you know. But, so yeah. As far as all the factions we have going on, if I was someone... Like, let's say I was just, like, a citizen. Not an Inhuman, but just, like, a citizen. I think the group I would least want to run into is I guess the ATC. I guess still the ATCU would be the group I would least want to run into. Then, secondarily, it would be, well, no, I guess Lash is still, I'd be pretty fucking terrified to run into, because he would still kill. It's not like he's only killing Inhumans. He is, if you get in his way, he'll kill you too. So, I guess, you know, Lash, then the ATCU, then Hydra, then S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, Hydra right now is not really a threat to civilians right now, because they're not really doing anything. They keep trying to work themselves up to do something, but then we keep, you know, stopping them before they're able to. So, ultimately, they're not really doing anything right now. Thankfully, because of S.H.I.E.L.D., but still, you know, as a civilian... As a civilian, though, I would still know them from the old Hydra, so I would still be pretty fucking terrified to run into them. But, let's say I was an Inhuman. If I was an Inhuman, the groups that I would be, or the group I would least want to run into is, of course, the ATCU, followed then by, I think, S.H.I.E.L.D., followed by Lash, followed by Hydra. Because, again, Hydra, not threatening to Inhumans in any way at all right now. Hydra's probably the safest you could possibly run, safest group you could possibly run into as an Inhuman right now. But, yeah. Lash, I put lower than the ATCU and the S.H.I.E.L.D. because, again, I would much rather die than be in jail or in prison or be put in a stasis box or in a coma or something like that. Please just kill me. I would much rather prefer that. But yeah, so I don't know where I'm going with this. Just that I don't know. I cannot wait to see the ATCU being taken down, because this is, I think, the most I have, like, fully been like, yeah, absolutely fuck all of these people. Like, Hydra has been a very easy to hate organization, because they're just pure evil, pretty much. But, with the ATCU now, it's a lot more of a, like, yeah, absolutely, like, it's a more cathartic, like, yeah, I want to see these people, you know, absolutely get tore down, get tore down and killed and all that shit, because, yeah, when it comes to just, like, a purely evil organization like Hydra, it's fun to see him get taken down, but it's not, like, super cathartic or anything like that. It's just, like, it's fun. It's, you know, fighting Nazis is not very cathartic. It's just pure, mindless fun. Yeah. So, I guess I don't really have anything else to say other than, fuck, man, this episode, real big nightmare fuel. Nobody is trustworthy right now. The only person who I am like, I like this person as a person, as a human being, I would want to be friends with them. As a human being, I would be like, hey, you want to go get some beers? Let's chill. You're a cool dude. Is Lincoln. Lincoln's like the only one at this point. Fitz and Simmons too. Will, I guess. But Will's, you know, been on an alien planet for 14 years, so I'm not sure if I would really want to go have a drink with him. Be a pretty awkward conversation, probably. I feel like I'd come across very privileged. So, yeah, I'd say Lincoln, Fitz, and Simmons are, like, the only three that I'm like, cool dudes. I'd hang out with them. Cool, I like them. Everybody else, great characters. I love them. The show is full of amazing characters. But, yeah, wild people. See you guys next episode.